YouTube, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. As you can see from the title of the video today, we're doing something to break up the monotony of the last few videos. Obviously for the last 21 days we've been trying to do a daily upload and I've been doing a lot of music reactions, so I figured I'd go back to something that I used to be very fond of doing, which is MMA videos.
What are you on? What are you doing? He's proving the haters right, unfortunately.
Why don't you drink? I never did. Get my backwards.
He's in a lot of trouble.
People in Ireland have really started to come around this guy, man.
There's this feeling of like, we want to see Conor fall flat on his face.
Obviously, if you've been living under a rock, McGregor and Poirier are rematching on Saturday, which is actually tomorrow for UFC 257. It's Poirier versus McGregor number 2, and pretty much ever since I used to do those reactions on the Khabib situation with McGregor and just UFC reactions in general, I've been continuously seeing comments pop up asking me to do, you know, more videos on Khabib, more videos on UFC in general. So I figured I'd weigh in. Now, one of the main reasons as to why I stopped doing the videos is purely because I lost interest in the sport of MMA in general. From a personal standpoint, I stopped training. I just stopped watching the fights. I used to kind of be involved in watching all the fights. I really was invested in it. So I figured if I'm not really invested in it, I'm not going to make a video on it because I just, you know, I won't be up to date. I don't know, something in my brain clicked and was kind of like, I find it quite hard to watch fights these days. I don't know what it is. Maybe I've just matured a little bit, but watching someone who has, you know, a full life ahead of them with a family, you know, kids, probably a wife at home or a husband at home, watching them get their head caved into oblivion and then just punched in the face continuously whilst they're unconscious on the ground has somewhat become, it's just become a lot harder to watch. But maybe this weekend I will get back into it because obviously McGregor is rematching Poirier and I am interested to just kind of give my thoughts and hear what you guys think, because I know I do have, or at least I had, a lot of Khabib fans who watched my videos, because obviously I was quite objective in the way in which I broke down McGregor versus Khabib. Being Irish myself, people enjoyed my point of view. But the last few years a lot has unfolded with McGregor kind of taking hiatus from MMA and coming back, and over the last few weeks I know some people are saying, you know, it's all of a facade, it's still the old McGregor under all this, you know, kind of newfound maturity that he has. But from an Irish perspective and just being in the country, it does seem like the tides are kind of turning for McGregor. There was definitely a period of time, and I was most certainly one of those people that just lost all faith in him, because, completely honest, complete transparency, McGregor is this fucking, like, he was Ireland's hero. Like, in his prime, when he was just going through the featherweight division and then obviously moving up to lightweight, like, you would be hard pressed to find a man or woman in Ireland at that time that wasn't a massive McGregor fan. And it somewhat feels like after all the shit where you're just taking it too far with Khabib and the build up and all of just the ridiculous remarks, it was just getting borderline cringe. He's kind of pulled people back in, and me being honest, I have enjoyed the build up to this fight. I know a lot of people want to see, you know, the bad blood, the back and forth between fighters, but I've really enjoyed seeing this new side of McGregor, like the dad side of McGregor.
One of the baddest men on the planet, now one of the most daddest men on the planet.
Actually just getting on with everyone. But I suppose I'm mainly making this video because I want to see what you guys think. I'd love to see what the general consensus is from people outside of Ireland, because obviously I have a very skewed vision of how people think this fight is going to go, because being from Ireland, the majority of the people I converse with on a daily basis are from Ireland, have followed McGregor since day one, and are at some point, or were at some point, massive fans of McGregor. So I'd be interested to see what some of my audience from outside of the country thinks. So do obviously get involved in the comment section down below. Let me know what you think, what way you think the fight is going to go. Obviously I'll give my thoughts at the end of the video, but for now what we're going to do is I'm going to react to a video that's 2 minutes long. It's short and sweet, but it's called UFC 257 Poirier versus McGregor 2, the quote read by James Mystery. Now, I do believe that this is a quote that McGregor had said in like 2013, I think, because I did watch the press conference. I don't know if you guys have watched it, but the press conference where Michael Chandler, Dan Hooker and Dustin Poirier and McGregor were all on stage, obviously Dana White in the middle of them, and one of the guys in the crowd, maybe it was James Mystery, I believe, maybe that's who, because it's in the title of this video, but he did actually read out a quote to McGregor that was like, it gave me chills across my body, because McGregor basically detailed what he wants to achieve in the sport of MMA and the financial benefits that he's going to get from that, to obviously bring, you know, his whole family, his team, And especially he mentioned his mother as well, getting his mother a big house and all this kind of shit. So it's just like, it kind of gave me chills to see where he's come from. Obviously that was his mindset back then, so it's really cool to kind of see this law of attraction unfold and where he is now with this massive following around the world. So I'm going to quickly check this video out, see what it's all about. I'd imagine it's going to be quite good based on some of the comments that I've seen, and then I will give my thoughts on how I believe the fight will go at the end of the video. So let's go.
Connor, how you doing, mate?
Okay, so it is this quote.
You've evolved so much in your fighting career, but
This is one of the best quotes. All bias aside, it just gives you chills to think of someone in a position that was nowhere near where he is today to be as brash, to say that in a public sense, and for it to come true. So crazy.
I think you've always been an artist inside and outside the cage with your fighting style and your ability to sum up things in such a poetic manner. I wanted to read you a quote from 2013 that you said.
I have chills again, fuck.
I've lost my mind on this game like Vincent van Gogh. Dedicated his life to his art and he lost his mind in the process. That's happened to me, but fuck it. When that gold belt is around my waist and my mother has a big mansion, my girlfriend has a car for every day of the week, and my kids' kids get everything they ever wanted, then it will pay. Then I'll be happy. I lost my mind.
Fuck.
Can you just reflect and talk to me about how that makes you feel hearing that in 2021?
You know, it's been some ride. I've got it done, and I'm up here, mad as a brush. You know what I mean? I've been through it all, my friend. You know, I appreciate that, and it's been a wild ride for me. It's not been easy at times, but you know, what a life. And I tell you what, I wouldn't want it to be any other way. I'm very excited to be back here. I just feel invigorated. And as you said about artistry and all, and Vinnie Van Gogh, I'm gonna paint a beautiful picture here inside this octagon on Saturday night.
Oh fuck, that was a pretty well put together video. I did think that it would be that quote. I just seen the quote in the title of the video, and then I was kind of like, do you know what, I guarantee this is going to be the quote from the press conference the other day, because I remember watching that and I was kind of getting goosebumps listening to it, because I do recall when he actually said, I actually remember the moment or the interview or wherever it was that he actually said it. But before we get into my prediction and my thoughts on the actual fight, I do understand there's probably going to be people here that are like, Drew, remember you burnt the flag of McGregor, you burnt the poster of McGregor. Now you have to bear in mind that one was a bit of showmanship from myself. Two, at the time, it was literally straight off the back of McGregor punching the old man in the bar, and I still look back on those clips, and I think everyone in Ireland goes back to those clips and those moments and just cringes so much. But you've got to remember what McGregor means to a lot of Irish people. I mean, I know it's not specific to Ireland right now, but the world is in a state of ruin, and Ireland in particular, I know at the moment, a few weeks back, or 2 or 3 weeks back, Ireland had per capita the highest rate of COVID-19 cases in the world. So I think this fight means a little bit more to a lot of people at the moment from Ireland than it would in any other circumstance, purely because it's like the only thing that people have to look forward to, without getting too deep into the emotional side of it. But it's almost a little bit of hope for people in Ireland, because being honest, the economy in Ireland at the moment is taking a huge hit with businesses being closed, and it's really just more so the hardest part is not seeing a finish line for a lot of people. And I know it's not just Ireland, it's a lot of countries around the world that are in the same situation, but Ireland at the moment has this one kind of shining light, being this fight, which is a global thing. You know, Ireland being such a small country, we don't get a lot of these moments, but McGregor has provided a lot of that over the last few years, and it feels like we've been kind of robbed of that even when he has been fighting, because there's always been such like bad stigma behind his name. But this build up, like I said at the start, has been great to see. It's almost as like he's been rebirthed. Now I know there's going to be Khabib fans on this video, and there's going to be people that just hate on McGregor that are going to say, oh Drew, it's just a facade and you're falling into his trap, blah blah blah. And I mean, so be it. If that does become the case, that he goes back to his old ways, I don't know, but I just find it quite hard to think that he would even go back to that kind of particular way he was before. He just comes across so much more mature, and the fact that he's got another kid coming into the world as well, I know you can almost just see that he has changed. Even the Cerrone fight was different as well, but the Cerrone fight seemed almost like, okay, well, he seems like he's turning the corner. You know, we'll see what he's like in the next fight. And then again with Poirier, he just seems a lot more respectable. So all in all, as much as I do love Dustin Poirier, I mean, as McGregor keeps alluding to, how could you not love the guy? McGregor, Cub Swanson and Dustin Poirier stand out to me as being fighters that I always looked up to when I was still training kickboxing, when I was still training MMA. Just all these fighters that I really, you know, aspired to be like when I was a little bit younger. So it does pain me to see Poirier go up against McGregor again, because I just simply do not see any way that Poirier beats McGregor. Yes, I know he's had a significant run since their initial fight. Granted, he has lost, was it to Michael Johnson? He also lost to Khabib as well. I think they're the only two losses that he's had since the McGregor loss, and he's gone on to beat the likes of Eddie Alvarez, Dan Hooker as well, who's obviously in the co-main event, Anthony Pettis. They're just to name a few. I know he's got a few more, but I haven't looked into it that deep, to be honest. But there's just a part of me that just, I don't see any other way that McGregor comes out of this other than victorious. As much as Poirier has changed, and I'm sure he will give a better account of himself on the night, despite what McGregor's saying of the 60 seconds being less than that, there just has to be that little part in his head that just keeps flashing back to that moment. Even if he does drag the fight out a little bit longer, it's always going to be there. Even no matter how much he thinks he might have gotten away from it, you know, put yourself in that position. I don't care how mentally tough you are. When you know that the last time you fought this person, no matter how many years ago it was, that you were done within the first round. It's just something that I can't really imagine being too easy to get around, especially in the place that McGregor seems to be mentally, where, you know, he just seems more zen, so much more content with where he is. He doesn't really have a chip on his shoulder. Even with the Khabib stuff, he doesn't seem like he really wants that. Now granted, he's going on about the Khabib stuff a bit ridiculous, like saying that Khabib is scared. That is complete bollocks. Like, come on. But I also kind of get the angle that he's going with it. It's probably the only real angle he has available left to him to get that fight back. But I personally don't think McGregor deals very well with Khabib the second time around. But that is a story for another day, guys. Bottom line of this video is what I wanted to just switch it up, do something a little bit different, get my thoughts out there again. I'm not claiming to be any MMA expert whatsoever, but I do know that from the previous videos that I've done before, they've been polarizing in the sense some people have loved them, but some people have hated them as well. So that's where you guys come in. Let me know if you're excited for the fight, first of all, and then give me your prediction in the comments. Obviously my prediction, I want to say first round for McGregor again. I just don't see it going any other way, but like they've been alluding to, I would love to see them just battle it out. But either way, I just don't see Poirier doing significant enough damage to come anywhere near a win. But who knows? It's been what, 7 years since they last fought, so I mean, anything can happen at this point, especially because McGregor hasn't been picking at him mentally. This fight, maybe Poirier will come in fresh and just not thinking about the mental side of it like he was the last time, and he's also a little bit older as well. So guys, who knows? Let me know in the comment section down below what you think. If you did enjoy my thoughts, if you enjoyed the video that we just watched, please drop a like in this video. Make sure you're subbed to the channel as well, it'd be much appreciated. And as always, take care of yourselves, enjoy the fight wherever you're watching it around the world. I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.